Oh my gosh.
What's the matter? You okay?
Breathe it out.
You do?
Sometimes you just have to breathe it out.
Hi, I'm Sarah.
And I'm Candace.
And welcome to Don't Start.
And as we like to say, don't start.
Candace, save it for the show.
Exactly. So let's get to it. You know when a dog shakes it off?
Oh,
I remember my
Juno
vet
does it, and then she floops out.
Yeah, I remember my vet when I first got cannoli. I'm like, he's always shaking like this. He's like, he's got to shake it off. He's like, do you not know the Taylor Swift song? I'm like, oh, yeah.
I also like when Juno gives a deep breath like that, and you're like, oh, is your life so bad you have to take a deep breath?
Cannoli does that when he's sleeping. He goes,
yeah.
I'm like, take it easy, Knowles. We're all right.
Yes.
Like,
you know what gives me a little bit of that? It's social media posting. But I think we're doing great, aren't we?
I think we're having a ton of fun.
Yeah, if anybody has any suggestions, please slip us in our DMs.
If you don't like our social media posting, tell us. We're open to all thoughts, but we love communicating with you all, and this is the way.
There. And we want to say, if you guys have anyone, we're really focused right now with a lot of our interviewers. Interview people we're going to interview
today too.
Is that people that are doing great in their community, in their industry, that are standout humans doing good for others.
Yeah.
And so I have to tell you, the person that we have on today,
so excited.
Henry Tribes Amoloja. And we're going to get him to really pronounce that name. His last name better than I just did.
And on social media, he's known as the Weighted Cape.
The Weighted Cape.
I love this.
And he's also the Weighted Cape. Henry Tribes he's on as well. But I want to say that I was scrolling the interwebs, and by that I was scrolling on Instagram, and this great video popped up. And it was this amazing barber that was working with neurodivergent children.
Yeah.
So kids that are on the spectrum.
Yeah.
When you go in for a haircut, and can you imagine a buzzer? Like the sensitivity to sound?
I'm sorry.
To feel, to just a stranger coming in and coming near your hair and your face. And we're talking about just as kids. I get nervous going to any new hairstylist. And that is true.
It's insane.
But the thing that he does so many amazing things for these kids, whether it's having toys around them, whether he's being like very empathetic to how they're feeling. But I have to say, it brought a tear to my eyes. And I mean it. I got emotional with a huge smile, of course. Yeah. My heart grew a little bit bigger that day seeing his posts.
It's phenomenal.
Because he's someone that found a purpose. Yeah. And he loves what he does as a barber, but he expanded it where he's creating a legacy and creating meaning.
He just upped it to a level that honestly touches so many people.
Yes.
So many people. I mean, I'm sorry.
As an entrepreneur with the Weighted Cape,
it's so smart.
Also to be someone that's showing how he's influential in the industry, I think we have to bring Henry in to just talk to him about how he got to where he is.
We got to bring Henry in. Let's bring him in.
How you guys doing?
Welcome.
First of all, welcome. We're very happy that you agreed to be here with us.
Yay.
But sometimes when we're on social media, we get into these doom scrolls, right?
Yes.
But you popped up in one of my scrolls, and I sent it to my family, who I have 2 nieces and a nephew. And it was one of those stories that I was like, this is someone that's bringing heart, first of all, to the social media, to the internet, but in what they do. And it was one of those things where like you search for those moments of being like, man, that guy's doing a beautiful thing, and you just made me really happy. And that's why I really wanted to connect the dots first and foremost. Okay. So thank you for what you do. But how did you grow to become the barber, to be inspired, and then continue to where you are today with the Weighted Cape and everything you do with working with neurodivergent children?
Give us some background. I'm so excited.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh my God. Where do I start?
From the beginning, Henry. From the beginning.
All right. You guys are gonna have me going off on a tangent.
That's all right. We do the same thing.
I see she has her notebook ready. Okay, you guys are ready, baby. Okay, let's go.
We're very excited.
Okay. So I've been a professional barber for 10 years. And you know, I do have a bachelor's degree. I've done the whole corporate thing. I remember graduating with a marketing degree and literally going straight to barber school. And at the time, it was crazy. This is 2014. Barbering wasn't as respected as it is now, especially being like an immigrant. Like immigrant families and parents don't really recognize like the trades, like barbering. They're more like you're either on the doctor, lawyer, engineer trajectory or you're like the black sheep. So for me, it was like, you know, it took a lot of courage to be able to, follow my passion, which was cutting hair. So after obtaining the degree, I went to barber school. And then after getting my barber's license, I decided to give corporate a shot because I still had that kind of like, what if
Yeah, of
inside
course.
burning inside of me, like, let me just use my degree. Yeah, it didn't work. I think I lasted a year, and quite frankly, I don't even know how I lasted that long because it just wasn't me, and I just feel like it was killing my soul softly.
Yeah.
Henry, I was literally going to ask you, did it affect your soul? And you said it.
Yeah,
I get
yeah, it definitely was. And I don't know if you guys have ever had these moments where, like, in the moment, you don't realize you're going through some kind of depression until you come out of it, and then in retrospect you're like, oh my god, I was definitely going through depression during that time, but I just didn't realize it because I'm one of those people who I'm high functioning, right? So depression or not, I'm just go.
You're just pushing through. You're pushing through.
I'm just
I know.
pushing through. So,
Yep.
but retrospectively, I looked at it and I'm like, wow, like I remember struggling to get out of bed every morning because I knew, oh, you're gonna go do something that you absolutely dread. You're gonna be clock watching, and you're going to just be trying to get through the day while still working hard and trying to prove to people that like you're worthy of even being here, right?
Right.
So that was extremely hard. December 2016, I think I was only like 23 or 24 years old when I decided to quit. And
do you remember the day that you had the epiphany? I just that you were just like, this is it.
That it wasn't working.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't remember the specific day, but I remember my specific mindset, which was when I got to the point where I actually verbalized the fact that, yo, I hate this job. Like I had to say it out loud, right?
Yeah.
And when I got to that point, that's when it was like, okay, now you've admitted to yourself that you hate this job, and now you got to find your way out. Because for many months, I kept making excuses. I was like, oh, it's still new. This is your entry level job. Entry level jobs are supposed to, not be all glamorous, and they're not supposed to pay the best. You're supposed to just work your way up.
Right.
And like, I've never quit anything in my life. So the concept of quitting was very strange to me. And it was just months and months of this internal battle of like trying to figure out like whether I should stay and just kind of grind it out, or or leave. And when I got to the point where I admitted to myself and had that moment of honesty with myself, I think that was when it was like, okay, now it's time for you to just find your way out and leave on a good note, put in your 2 weeks, work your hardest until the very last day.
Right.
Yeah.
And I got to that point December 2016, and the next day I was in Montego Bay, Jamaica. Okay.
You're like, I need a break.
I was in Montego Bay, Jamaica, and that was 9 years ago, and I haven't looked back since. So that's the backstory on how I became.
I love it.
But the low barber. And the realization to then go to the high to fuel your fire, you needed to experience that moment.
Honestly, it was a euphoric feeling. I still remember the drive, my last drive from work.
Yeah.
And I just remember blasting music, and I had my window down, and I was getting ready to be in Jamaica. And there was just something so liberating about it. And, it's something that, I just wish, from my story and from your podcast and your platform, people hearing my story can just, feel inspired to just, to just take the leap, jump. I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know what would come out of my barbering career, but I just knew that I wanted to follow what I loved doing, which was cutting hair. Even if it didn't make sense at the time for someone with a bachelor's degree to be a barber, I just followed what I liked and what felt right. And
it's so cool.
9 years later, I have zero regrets.
Of course you have zero regrets. You're doing something so positive now too. But let me just go back to, let's start, being a barber. I always say my dad grew up in a barbershop, not cutting hair, but would always be in a barbershop.
The community.
And he always joked about it. He's like, I tell two people in the world I tell my secrets to. My barber and the priest. And it always made me laugh because I'm like, you know what? A bartender's another one, right? Like, at the end of the day, that is a very human job in the sense that with everyone is talking to you, you're in everyone's face, everyone's in your face. How do you, first of all, I'm sure you love it, but I'm wondering if when you're doing this, do you feel that human connection from the different person rotating in your chair each day? Do you feel that?
Of course. And felt that connection when I was in a traditional barbershop, when I was like one of 10 barbers in a barbershop, but even more when I moved into a private suite. That's when the real tea, that's when the real stuff comes out. That's when people tell you things that you're like, okay, well, let me go ahead and shut my salon suite door so nobody
Yeah.
else hears what we're talking about. But yeah, I think it's pretty cool to see people open up, especially with me curating like a private, intimate space for my clients. It just takes the connection to like a different level from, even being in the traditional barbershop. And, they kind of just become family. I mean, you watch your clients grow. You watch them, graduate college or whatever, get that
It's
job, complain
amazing.
about that job, quit that job, go back to get their masters. And you just literally get to grow with them. And they also get to grow with you, and it's just super fun, being able to connect with so many people. And like for me, like I'm one of those people who, like, I'm selectively extroverted, if that makes sense.
I'll take
Yeah.
that.
I genuinely, I'm that person who, like, I'll go to the movies by myself, like I'll
Yes.
go have a drink by myself,
Me
Yes.
but
too.
like I still crave, that social connection,
Yes.
right? And I'm able to get that from the work I do being a barber. And
Right.
it's been pretty fun.
AI will not be taking his job.
No,
So
are
there
you
you
kidding
go.
me? AA is not touching my hair. No robots
There you
touching my
go.
hair. I have a lot of happiness and also emotions connected to my hair, but there is a lot of spiritual things connected with hair in
Yes.
general in history.
Yes,
I know
yes.
my fiance grows his hair long and then he'll cut it and he's
So great.
donated it. But I want
Oh,
to
absolutely.
ask you, like, where did your connection start to become a barber?
Oh my God, where did the connection start? Honestly, it all started because I needed a barber for myself. So I couldn't find any barber in the college, in the city, or the college that I went to. So I just decided to be my own barber. So it was just me fulfilling a need from myself. And it just kind of snowballed from there.
It's great.
So for me, but that was in college when it was just like, oh, this is pretty cool. I can make $5, $10,
Yeah.
$60 on a Friday. Like, this is great beer money, like,
It
but
is.
I think, but I think it went to the next level when I realized that, oh my God, like, this could be my ticket to entrepreneurship. I was
Yeah.
very, very passionate about being an entrepreneur and being self-employed and doing my own thing.
Yeah.
That just resonated with me at an early age, reading books of like all the prominent, business men and women. I've read all the books. I mean, Steve Jobs,
Yeah, of
Richard
course.
Branson. I've read all the books, and I'm so happy that I started getting access to these books when I was about 19, 20 years
Yeah.
old. So for me, making that connection with like just like that burning desire to be an entrepreneur and just loving the skill and the art of like doing hair and combining both. Once I made that connection, the rest was history.
Right. That's
Yeah.
so great.
And you had it in you, even though you did go and study also marketing
Yeah.
as well. But you
Yes.
are an entrepreneur because you have the weighted cape as
Yes, ma'am.
well. And that we can also pivot into talking about how you specialize in working with children on the spectrum. Can you
Yes.
tell us about how just being a barber then became so much more and evolved into where you
Yes.
are now?
How did that start? Because coming from
Yeah.
on this side of the couch, I will tell you,
She's
I've
a son
taken
who
my
has great
1-year-old
hair.
who has, my kid's got amazing hair. I'll say it. He came out of me with giant hair. So like,
Gets it from his mom. He gets it from
oh,
his mom.
thank you. But I will say this, because he has so much hair, I had to put him in the barber chair, like, literally on my lap at 4 months old because it was down to his like collarbone. I'm like, crazy. I was like, we got to get this kid's haircut. The buzzer, the clipper, all these sounds freaked him out at 4 or 5 months. You know what I mean? Like, barely could hold his head up and getting a haircut. And now he's a year and still kind of freaking out. And, there's some techniques I have. I'll bring a little iPad, which I don't want to do, but I got to do it to keep
Yeah.
his head still. But when
Gotta
you
do what you gotta do.
Right, you got to do. But when Sarah came to me and was like, look at this, and it's the
have
way
to
to
see this
cape, I was
video.
like, what?
Yeah.
Genius. Please explain to us how that even came about. I find it so fascinating.
Honestly, this whole everything you guys have seen is like it's serendipity, right? Honestly, like I feel like I just stumbled upon it, and I feel like this journey found me, right? So like being entrepreneurial, like I said, I've always thought that I came into this industry to change something, right? I've always felt that deep in my soul, like even before I went to barber school, that you're not coming here to be like the greatest barber in the world or any of that. Like you're just coming in because you're gonna change something and you're gonna do something to push this industry forward. So I've always kind of just always had like that, mind of like coming up with ideas and just thinking of new things and ways to just innovate. And having that in my subconscious, right? February 2024, I decided to buy my wife a weighted blanket. Okay. Now, for anyone who's married or anyone who
I
has a
have
spouse,
one. It's amazing.
sometimes
Gets
you
stressful.
buy something for your spouse knowing damn well you're gonna be the one using it the most,
Probably.
right?
That's
So,
facts.
so I bought her the weighted blanket, but I ended up using this thing like all the time, right? And then I'll never forget. I was just laying on the couch with the weighted blanket one day, and I just like stood up abruptly because like this idea just came to me, and I was just like, oh my god, like what if a weighted blanket was in the form of a traditional haircutting cape? What would that look like? And I'm like, oh no, there's no way it doesn't exist. It has to exist,
Yeah, of
right?
course.
So then I went down the rabbit hole of looking on Google, YouTube, Amazon, Etsy, whatever it is, and to my surprise, guess what?
Wow.
Did not exist. Okay?
Wow, that is so rare, by the way, because we all have these invention ideas. We're like, this is a great idea, and then it exists some way or another.
Right.
That's brilliant that came to you that way.
Yes, I was like, it has to exist, and it didn't. So I went to a local seamstress who I told the idea to, and I think within a week I had a prototype, and I took the same weighted blanket that I bought my wife to the seamstress, and she cut out like
Yeah.
the collar shape, the U shape, right, out of the weighted blanket, and sewed a pocket to the interior of the cape, and just inserted the weight into the pocket, and boom, we had a weighted cape. So I was able to test it out on my clients, which at the time I wasn't doing any sensory friendly haircuts. I don't even
Sure.
think I was cutting kids at this point. Like this is
Right.
just my standard adult clients, right?
Right.
They all loved it.
Yeah.
Every single one of them loved it, but I didn't feel confident enough to bring it to the market until I took it home to wash it, right? And then
Good point.
everyone said, "Where the hell is the weighted cape?" They were like, "What is this? Get this off of me. I want the weighted cape
Oh,
now,"
that's
right?
very
So
funny.
they became so accustomed to the weighted capes that they said, that the regular cape started to feel weird to them, right? And that's when I was like, hey, I think we have something here. And then
Yeah.
summer 2024, what year are we in? 2025. Okay.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
summer 2024, we launched it in the market. And then people quickly told me, hey, I mean, this is nice, this is comfortable, but this could be a need for neurodivergent individuals, especially kids who struggle with haircuts, because this
Yes.
could help give them that
Yes.
soothing sensory input they need to be able to cope, right? And a lot of kids struggle with this problem, so look into it. And that's when I just went down the rabbit hole, because I'm like, I didn't understand it. I'm like, sensory processing disorder, autism,
Yeah.
Right.
deep pressure therapy. I just couldn't connect the dots, right?
Yes.
But went down the rabbit hole, did the research, and when I started piecing the dots together, that's when I was like, oh my God, not only is this a need, you're gonna be the one to help fulfill this need. And you have all the tools that you need.
Yeah.
Obviously, you could use a little bit more education, more information, more knowledge, do the work, and then you're gonna be the one to make this the standard in the barber industry.
So-
And that's when I just went full fledged with it.
So, Henry, I have to say,
love that.
with that, you said it was serendipitous, but I
Yes.
have to say, you've also created this change
Yeah.
in what you do. You've done it,
you.
right?
Thank you.
And that's the thing with serendipitous actions. You have to be always proactive because you have to keep, that's the whole
Yep.
idea. I mean, I think it was Obama who said it. We could do the call out culture, but if you're
Yeah.
not creating the change, it's not going to happen.
Yeah, you can-
And
Yes,
you are doing
absolutely.
that in your industry. And I have to give it up for barbers right now. I have been seeing so many amazing barbers doing amazing things out there. How
Yes.
has the industry changed? Like, because I've even just witnessed it in the respect it's receiving.
It's insane.
I mean, how have you seen it change since you've started?
Honestly, the feedback has been incredible, a little overwhelming because it's just like things are happening really fast. A lot of what you guys, have seen as far as like my socials and the content and all this really just started happening this summer. Probably in June was when things really started taking off, right? Believe it or not, just 3 months ago, I was probably only doing 10 sensory haircuts a month. Now I'm doing 60, and by January, I'm going to be doing 100. Okay?
That's
So things,
amazing.
You're based in Dallas?
Yes, ma'am. Dallas,
great.
Texas.
And you have a GoFundMe, which, unless I'm reading this wrong, you can tell me, but you've raised enough money. We still want to raise more, but you've raised enough in which you can give some discounted haircuts for all of 2026. Is that right?
Free haircuts all of 2026.
Free haircuts. That's
Yes.
insane.
And you're expanding your location.
Yes, and beyond that, I'll now, because the thing is, number one, I didn't realize I was gonna get. I think we're almost at like 2,500 donations.
Yes.
Which is just,
Yeah.
So I didn't realize that it would blow up that fast, and I didn't realize people would be so generous. So now I'm starting to realize, oh my God, this is bigger than me, because I can only do so many sensory friendly haircuts, right?
Yeah.
So now the goal is to expand into a new space next year and hire and train people.
I was going to say the same thing.
I was going to ask you that.
Teach us your ways.
Teach people.
And for people that haven't seen the videos, which we will definitely be posting on our social, can you explain kind of the experience when these children come into your shop?
So a lot of the work is actually done before they come into my shop. I was just literally, before I hopped on this podcast, I was doing an hour of preliminary phone consultations with the parents, right? And then they fill out like a 20 question questionnaire, just to learn about the kid, what their triggers are, what their sensitivities are, what are their interests? Do they like Bluey, dinosaurs, cars?
Yeah.
Like how can I personalize my space and the experience to increase the chances of, of having a successful sensory haircut session. So a lot of the work is done before. I even send them like the link to this like completely silly YouTube video that I made of just like me introducing myself, so the kids can get familiar with the toys, my tools, my process, and things like that. Because with kids on the spectrum, like having that sense of like predictability is so important, right? So a lot of the work is done before the kids come in. When they come in, I try to spend 5 to 10 minutes with them, just pairing and just getting to know them, building the connection, building that trust before I even pull out the shears or the clippers or any of that, right? I just try to make them feel comfortable and, relaxed and trust me. And then, I start the haircut, and, these sessions can go anywhere from 40 minutes to sometimes even an hour. And I think to me, that was the biggest difference. Is usually with kids cuts, it's just get it done and get them out.
That's right. That's right.
Even all like the big franchises, it's like, get them in and get them out 10, 15 minutes. But I actually set aside an hour, right? Yeah. Now, I'm not saying every kid takes the entire hour. Some kids take 20 minutes. Some kids take 40. Some kids take 30. Yeah. But having that hour window of time allows me to, number one, not rush the haircuts or rush the experience. I can spend 5 to 10 minutes just building rapport with the kid before I even start the session. And it just really allows me to like curate a personalized, just like safe space for these kids. And of course, get them a fresh haircut too in the process.
I make them look good as well.
I love that you're saying that. It's actually making me a little emotional because I know.
I told you his videos made me cry. My heart grew bigger.
Because when I took my son to get his first haircut was my friend who cuts my hair. So it was him in my lap, and it's fine. We got through it. He didn't cry. He was young. So, and she didn't use any buzzers. She just used the shears, the scissors, and it was fine. But as he's gotten, he's a year and a half now, he's getting older. We wanted to like give him, more structured haircuts. So I did do the big franchise, and I don't want to, poo-poo that, but I am going to poo-poo that because the woman was like in and out, right? It was like a 5 to 10 minute thing. He was crying. She didn't try to help him. She just did it real quick. And I literally actually picked my kid up and said, you know what? We're good. She goes, well, I didn't do the other side. And I said, I don't even care. Because she didn't want to be there. My kid got to sit in a little red car or something, but he didn't care because there was no sort of care. And your hands, the way you're doing it, I just love it. You're like I see as you're speaking with your hands, like you take care of the child, right? There was nothing lovable about this person in her structure and it wasn't because of anything except maybe she just didn't want to be there that day. But I love how you're taking care of these children or anyone. Honestly, I've never gotten my hair buzzed. I've never have. But I'm assuming my husband says it feels really good. But I don't know. I think to an adult maybe, but to a kid or even a teenager, I can imagine what it feels like or sounds like. I mean, I have cousins who have boys, and they all said the same thing. Oh, I chased my kid around the salon to get them in the chair. And I'm like, this isn't fun.
And
this is
and
miserable.
It's a traumatic experience.
It's traumatic.
Right?
So thank you for doing that.
Yes.
With the even like the 20 question.
Also, trust your parent, right? Mom, why did you put me here? It's terrifying.
My son Maverick was looking at me like, why did we sign up for this, Mom? I'm like, I don't know. I don't know why I brought you here. Like, I questioned all my choices. I cried too. It was actually very emotional.
So I have to ask, you are a parent, correct?
Yes, parent of 2 toddlers.
Oh, God bless
goodness.
you. You look so rested.
Yes.
What the hell?
Yes, I have a 3-year-old and a 2-year-old. I don't know how I do it, but I also have to give them credit for like, I feel like they're the ones who like instill that patience in me.
That's true.
Yes.
To be able to just like,
That's true.
you know, embark on this journey that I'm on.
That's
I
true.
was going to say, when I watched the videos, your patience
It's amazing.
come through. Like, I see you taking your time and adapting, like, very
I don't know
quickly.
how you do it. Yeah, no.
That in itself is social brilliance, right?
Thank
Being
you.
able to read people, which is so
Yeah.
imperative in society right now in general, as I know
Yeah.
we're talking on Zoom, but also being able to handle children in that way,
Yeah.
right?
It's a whole new level.
Like, we'll tell you how we feel. Like,
Yeah.
I need my hair blonde.
Yes, of course. Of course.
But handling children
It's a
and
whole new
how
level.
what's going to trigger them, how are they? I think that in itself. What kind of additional training do you feel like you needed to go through to that you didn't already know as a father,
Okay.
as a parent,
Oh,
and as a
yeah.
barber?
Okay. So first, you know, I have to give a big shout out to Kate Owens with the Sensory Safe Solution, which is a nonprofit that goes around the country certifying barbers and stylists to, you know, offer more autism affirming, you know, haircuts. So them realizing that this was a huge problem in the industry, they set out to make it their mission to go around the country teaching and educating people to have this like sensitivity training, right? So she reached out to me last September or October because she heard about the weighted capes and she was like, "Oh my God, like this already exists? I didn't even know." And she literally told me, "You have to get certified. You have to take the training
Right.
because I'm telling you, like this is a huge problem. This is a huge need, and you know you have what you need to be able to get started on this journey." So I got certified. It's a 2-hour Zoom class. And this was where I got like my foundational like knowledge about autism and sensory processing disorder and just neurodiversity in general, right? So the class did a pretty good job of just kind of highlighting like the nuances of autism and all these
So
things.
great.
And it still took me another 2-3 months to really muster up the courage to actually do my first sensory friendly haircut. I reached out to other sensory friendly barbers and stylists that I found on the internet, and to my surprise, a lot of them were very welcoming and embraced me, and there was no gatekeeping.
Yeah.
I'm talking like I would spend hours and hours on the phone with them, just picking their brains, and even like the jargon and the terminology. Like I didn't just a year and a half ago, I didn't even know what sensory friendly meant. Right. So like it took a lot of work, a lot of conversations to even be able to have the courage to even do my first sensory friendly haircut. I also joined every autism specific Facebook group out there. So just kind of immersing myself in these communities and, you know, just being a student. And even till today, you know, a lot of people ask me if I'm going to teach, and I'm like, I'm just not ready to teach yet because I'm still in that student phase. I'm still learning. And my mentor, who's been doing this for 11 years, shout out to Jelly Robinson in Houston. She's the one who, when I expand next year, I'm just gonna send people I'm working with to go train with her. Because she is incredible. And she's been doing this for 11 years. She has such a pure heart, such a pure soul, and and then we're part of a network called the Sensory Society, which is just people who offer sensory friendly services. It's a nationwide network of people who offer sensory friendly services just coming together. We have a Zoom meeting every Thursday. We support each other. We share resources with each other. And being a part of that group has also been a tremendous resource for me. And, you know, it also just makes you understand. It's kind of humbling because you see how passionate people are in this journey that we're on, and how it's not easy, and people can be transparent and vulnerable about their struggles, and we're just there to support each other, pick each other up, and we have a mission to just kind of make this like an industry wide standard, and hopefully eventually just be able to touch other industries and touch the world.
Oh my God,
I
love
have to
this.
say it's
I
incredibly.
could talk to you forever, by the way.
It's absolutely admirable what you're doing and accomplishing. I mean, I think the point in life, right, is to find a purpose, but then to create the meaning, you're creating a legacy, and it's awesome to watch.
Oh my God, Henry, I want to keep talking and keep talking, but we have to like do shout outs and things. But I will say this. My husband is one of the recruiters over at YAI, which is Young Adult Institute in Manhattan. They have clinics for humans with disabilities. They have these sensory classes and things like that, but I won't speak too much on their behalf. But I want to connect you, if that's okay, if I can tag you on social media to them.
Yes, please.
And my husband was like, please connect us, because I just think this is wonderful. They need to be aware of what he's doing, because they have clinics all over the tri-state area. So yes, I will connect you.
And everybody listening, connected on the way to Cape, Henry Tribes, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and we will definitely be putting the link for the GoFundMe and our page.
Yes, on our descriptions, we will.
Not only for the kids, I just think also what you're alleviating for the parents as well.
For me,
right?
Who cried in her car,
creating an inclusive environment and a beautiful community. Cheers to you, and we celebrate you so much,
Henry. Thank
you so much.
Love to your wife and kids. My God.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for joining.
Have a great one.
Day, okay?
Have a good week.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye, Henry.
Yes.
I love this person.
Oh,
what a doll. What a doll.
Did we all fall in love?
I mean, he's a doll, and just what he's doing. You know what I really love? I'm keeping this in our wrap up because I just think we need to. Yeah. I really love that he was like, I was sitting on the couch and I had the weighted blanket, and then I was like, an idea, because in my stupid Candace brain, I always have this moment where I'm like, idea! Like, I always think that's what's going to happen. It hasn't happened to me yet. Maybe it happened like once or twice in my life. I just want the cartoon light bulb to happen. And by the way, the cartoon light bulb that happens, I want it to actually materialize in it. And he did that thing. And that's so beautiful. And he's such an open human. So I'm so glad.
I would say there's something about people that are entrepreneurs, but also inventors, that they see a problem or an issue and they just proactively fix it.
He's so wonderful.
Right? So he went in to be a barber and then somehow got into this new world, the weighted cape, and then sensory sensitive kids.
Amazing.
And finding your niche.
Yeah.
And then knowing every day you're fired up to keep making it better.
And like you said, he's doing the work to further this.
Yes.
He's not just like, I have this great idea, let me sell this product. No, he's now taking classes. He's now finding out other barbers who have this certification. Yeah. They're all connecting together.
And he's not sitting back saying, I'm ready to be a teacher. He said, I'm still learning.
Yeah. By the way, when he said that, I was like, thank you, God, because I do believe too many people teach too quickly. And I do believe we are students for a very long time. And you need to be a student for a while.
For our whole life.
Yeah, right. Like, Tom says that all the time to me. He goes, I'm a student. I'm like, stop it. Like, all things.
Because we should never stop learning, being curious about things that are different, open-minded. But eventually, I think there's a lot to give back. Right.
That's how I look at teaching. You're giving back something you've learned.
Right.
I've unfortunately have not come across the most amazing teachers all the time. Sometimes when you do come across one because it stays with you. And
I've had amazing relationships with everyone
with certain ones.
From my master's program. Yeah. I just started continuing work with her on Tone Network.
So great.
And then also that's the thing, having mentors. He gave a shout out to his mentor.
No, it's so sweet.
And those are people that change your life. My mentor in sixth grade, Kathy Roy. Shout out to Kathy Roy.
Yeah.
But like having those people, she was my confirmation sponsor, right?
Oh, I love that.
Those people that you can go like, yes, I have mom and dad, but this is a different type of leading me into a direction that shows my purpose and my passion. 100%. And identify something different in you that maybe your parents did.
That they don't see or,
or that you don't even see in yourself yet.
Exactly. Yeah. I love the idea that he has I shouldn't say the idea. I love that he has all these mentors and people, and he does these weekly Zooms
and
in
we'll
which
be
they can
donating
further
from
their knowledge.
Don't Start Podcast will be definitely
we're all going to donate to their GoFundMe. They're almost at their goal, but we'll put all that information in our description notes on when we release, which would be really nice.
I love
so
marshmallow blankets, but I have yet to try marshmallow and fluffy blankets. I have yet to try a weighted blanket.
That's actually my happiness is a weighted blanket. I live in a weighted blanket.
You do.
Oh no!
When we're done here, I'm gonna maybe our next podcast should just be in the weighted blanket.
A weighted blanket goes one or two ways. Sometimes it could just be like a heavy. I like heavy blankets too, just like a heavy ass blanket or like actual weights. But like I always feel like a weighted blanket in bed. Tom hates it, but it ties me down. It's like you're in bed, bitch. You're in it. You can't get up. You gotta sleep. So I do like a weighted blanket or just a heavy blanket throwing me in, and like you can't get up. That's it. You gotta sleep.
In bed, bitch.
Enjoy it. But anyway,
I like fluffy blankets.
Thanks to Henry. That was wonderful. That was so wonderful.
You know, when I was teaching theater, we had a few autistic kids in the program I worked at.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, did those kids know how to express what they were feeling?
Yes, they're tapped into something. That's
They
correct.
were tapped into a magical power.
Of course.
That was beyond. And I think that's the point of what today is. Like, we're talking about inclusivity.
Yeah.
In every community, and how special it is for people to acknowledge that as a superpower.
Yeah, and I like that Henry kind of said something that I connected with quickly, where he was like, a year ago, I didn't even know what sensory meant with someone with autism or anything like that. And it got to me because I said, wow, each day, each of us have to further our knowledge in any area that we're passionate about. Yeah. And he's furthering it each day and actually saying, I don't know everything, but this is what I do know. And I'm trying my best to give back the best way I know how, and what makes me feel good. Because, man, driving in your car to a job you hate and watching the clock, like when he said that, actually, I got emotional because I remember Tom at one point saying earlier in his career, he was in a job he didn't like. And he said, I watched the clock today. Yeah. And that's
I remember
worst.
Exactly my aha moment where I was like, this is not where I'm supposed to, this is not where I'm supposed to be yet. And that was when I was teaching, maybe a little bit younger than, I think I just was like, there was still more for me to do.
You didn't feel right at that time.
I remember the kids were singing, I think I told this story.
Oh, you did.
Climb every mountain.
And you were like,
it's time for me. And it wasn't that they were doing beautiful work and I loved it and it meant a lot to me. But it wasn't the same fulfillment as it will be now for me, who got to do what I needed.
But there's this beautiful thing that I'm going to say, when you were teaching in that moment and he was in his marketing job, to then have the epiphany, to then walk away, go do something else, find your passion. But believe it or not, the marketing job, techniques and skills, the teaching techniques and skills come with you in the new stage, and it actually is at the right time.
It's the conversation where we say no regrets. There are no regrets because everything you've gone through it's created the person you are today.
It's like, oh, actually, if this happened sooner, I wouldn't have been the same person. So I do think it happened really at the right time for both of you and for all of us who go through those things. But for Henry in particular, I was like, wow, the marketing aspect of him was so perfect because he found the weighted cake. I can't get over it.
And look at how much he's connected on social media. People are, like I said, I was so engaged and excited about it. You don't think that's marketing?
And that's why we love social media. That's why we love social media.
The good.
That's good.
Let's do good.
Okay, I'll do
good. Get out there and go do good.
I'm going to go wipe my lipstick off.
But I'm not going to start quite yet. I'm going to go put on lip gloss.
I'm going to go put on lip gloss. I'm going to wipe mine off. It's bothering me. Love ya.
Okay.
Thanks for joining us today.
You can follow us on Instagram at Don't Start Podcast.
Or subscribe wherever you get your podcasts.
And we'll see you next time, friends.
Don't Start is produced by Anthony Street Productions.